I'm Bill Bragg, and this is my YouTube channel, Bill in April. Today I wanted to do a short little video on the QCopter QC1, which is available on Amazon. I bought it there just to learn how to fly a quadcopter, and I've had it a couple months now and really love it. I'm not associated with the company in any way. I just wanted to bring up some tips that I found. First tip, and I had read about this in the reviews, so I was reading the reviews pretty carefully, was when you assemble it, there's a couple things you have to assemble out of the box. One is you have to put prop guards on if you so desire to use them. I would definitely use them. You have to snap the little plastic landing gear on. There's just a couple small things that you have to do. One of the reviews I read referred to installing the prop guards and putting in the secure screw to securely connect it to the quadcopter so that it doesn't pop out if you crash it. I guess a lot of people are having problems when they went to put the screw in, that the screw would go down into the motor area and stick to the magnet on the motor. And the motor has a pretty powerful magnet and it's really hard to get the screw out of there. I wouldn't leave it in there because it could get into the gears if it did jar loose and cause issues. So looking at the quadcopter, and we're going in for a closer shot here, the motor's actually down in the back there. So it is possible, if you're putting this thing on, to have the screw slip out of your fingers and go down to that motor. The only way you're going to get it off the motor is the pair of hemostats or really small tweezers. So it's not fun to do. So what I recommend you do, instead of snapping this on to the quadcopter and then putting the screw in, because new plastic, sometimes they have like a little membrane over some of the holes in there, you're going to start the screw first. That's what, just take the screw out, start it into the hole, in the center hole here, and screw it in until it reaches the, it's flush with the back side. Don't need to go any further than flush with the back side. That way you won't lose the screw. Then it's simply, you're going to snap these onto the quadcopter, and these little prop guards, they do snap on. They're going to take a little force, so you're going to snap them on both sides like so. And we'll come in for a close-up here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take a screwdriver, see if I had too much coffee this morning, and we're just going to turn the screw down until it's snug. So it should be just a little bit past the top of the hole, and it'll start to snug up on you. And don't crank on it because you'll strip it. And that's it. That'll prevent you hopefully from dropping the screws down here like I did and some other people have done. Now part 2 of this, I'd like to talk about the controller itself. The controller's got some changes, and I think I found something that maybe nobody else has found out there just messing around with it. Maybe they have, but I just haven't seen it on YouTube. So let's talk about the controller for a minute. There's a couple switches. There's a switch in the upper left hand corner of the unit, and that switch was previously used to put it into headless mode and return home. That switch and this one down here, which would normally be like the yaw trim button, kind of flipped around. Okay, so the yaw trim button was originally speed control. So if you wanted to put it in a faster flight control, get more pitch, more speed out of it, that's what this did previously. So again, those two buttons have kind of been flipped around. So in today's world with my new controller, here's what I found. This became the headless switch. By sliding it to the left, it put it into headless mode. By sliding it to the right, it's a return home mode. The switch in the upper left hand corner, if you press that once, it'll put it into a higher power level. If you press it twice, it'll put it into even a higher power level. And I want to demonstrate all that. Okay, so when you turn this on, there's a couple things in the LCD display here. One is the mode 1 and the other is demo 1. Demo 1 is actually your power setting. I know it doesn't say power level, but demo 1 is the default power level that it comes up as. If I press that switch in the upper left hand corner one time, you'll hear 2 beeps, and then you'll see that it says demo 2 in the display. Demo 2 is more aggressive flying. It's got a little higher power and more pitch. If I press it again, you'll hear a couple beeps, 3 to be exact, and you'll see demo 1 and demo 2 is both indicated in the display. This is definitely more aggressive flying mode and a greater pitch, so it is a higher power mode. Going back to clicking this button one more time in the upper left corner, you'll hear one beep and we're going to be back to demo 1 mode. The other thing I found out with this button is it used to be some of the older controllers, if you press and held it, it was return home. Well, we can show you what this does now. So let me just turn the copter on. And you'll notice the lights are flashing. Okay, so the lights are blinking on the quadcopter. I'm going to turn on the controller. I'm going to bind it by sliding the throttle all the way up to the top and then back down again. The LED on the remote is now indicated it's bound. The lights have stopped blinking on the quadcopter. At this point I should have throttle, and I do. Alright, so if I press and hold this button in the upper left corner, we'll watch what happens to the lights on the quadcopter. It shuts them off. I can still fly the quad, but the LEDs are now turned off. So let me press and hold it again, and it turns the lights back on. Alright, the other button we were talking about a minute ago was the headless mode, and I'm going to slide that button to the left and it'll put the copter in headless mode. Headless mode is indicated by the blinking, slow blinking of the LEDs on the quadcopter. Take it out of headless mode, I move this button to the left again one time, and it'll take it out of headless mode. The right side of this button is return home. I'm not going to try testing it, but it's the return home button. If I slide it to the right one time, it should return home. Now I live in an area that's out in the country, but it's a lot of trees, so I have never tested return home on here, and I hope I don't have to, because they're pretty tall trees and I don't want to climb them. So I think that about covers it for today. Thanks for watching. See you soon.